Okay, I'm cleaning up the nails. See, this is how they're going to be. See how they're all rusty. Now see these three? Let's get you out in the sun. Maybe. We're getting in the shade here. We'll come out here. Hey, how about that? How about that? Okay. See, this is all the rust that has been built up on these. See these three? Not as rusty, huh? That's because I took them over to a rock and I just tapped on them with a hammer, and then I want to make sure I can push this easily through those holes on the trim, because the last thing I want is to start nailing one of these down about 3/4 of the way and have it not go because there's some rust in the way. See what I mean? Plus, I think if you clean off lots of the rust, I don't know if it might make these nails last a little bit longer. I mean, granted, they still have rust. And look at these nails. These two are shorter than this other one. Look how long that thing is. I'm thinking most of them are going to be about that long. I don't know how long that is. A foot? 10 inches? 12 inches? That one's even longer, but that's what you got to deal with. And they do that for a reason, because that's the only way you're going to hold this trim in there. See? By those little holes. Okay? Now, before I even start to think about putting this back in, see how that one's bent? I'll straighten that out. I'll look at this front edge. I can see that there's a little right there. I'll fix that. And I'll just kind of look at this, and then I'll hold it up there and see if I have to do any tweaking to it. And see, when I re-hold it up there, I can see this needs to be reshaped, that needs to be bent, that needs to be bent, and I'll hold it up there. And then I have to be careful of holding it exactly where it goes to see if this is a true 90-degree angle. So that one's like that. I'll rebend that. Make sure this is coming up almost at a 90-degree, because remember before it was pushed out like that. Even though the bottom is 90-degree, do you see what I mean? Because if you push it up here, this needs to be a 90, and then as I pound it back in, then it should be right. But I'll have to look at this, because I can see this goes off at the end. See, and I'll work on it. And now I have to decide. These were pretty much tight end for end, and one place that's overlapped somewhere up in here. Oh, that's short. See that? Actually, that's overlapped this one by 1/4 inch or so, and it's slightly short at the end. Maybe that's because that one needs to be pushed up, and this first one was pretty much tight to the end. When I get ready to start, I probably should just push this, start at the left and come this way. I'm not going to worry about trying to line it up with this end for end, because this one can slide down a little bit. Okay, I could tack it, a couple nails, not pound them in all the way, get everything started, check the end of the last piece that I'm putting in. You know, you just look at it and make a determination. Before I do that, I'll have to take my putty knife and take my hammer and kind of tap in here, make sure there's enough room, and it's going to hold nice and tight. Maybe when I pound it down, I'll just have to figure out, do I put the nail in at a slight angle, whatever, because I want to try to get that tight so it's not coming out at an angle. You know, it's going to take a little time, work with it, figure it out, and I may have to rebend some of these and bend them the other way, so that when this nail goes in all the way, see, if I were to tap that, put it in all the way, you see what happens? Does that business, right? So maybe some of these I might have to bend the opposite direction to get it to hold up there nice and tight. I'll just have to see. So it's going to be a little trial and error, and I'll have to tap it down with my hammer, maybe clean that edge up with my stiff putty knife, and work it a little bit and start figuring it out. If I get pooched down a little bit, maybe I get down all the way and then use my pry bar and pull it up a little bit, whatever. Okay? I think you can do it. I'm sure you can do it. Well, that's all I got for this time. But I'll be back with more videos. And hey, the more videos you watch, the more you learn and the more you save. At least that's my hope. See you tomorrow.